Before this video starts, I just want to say, have yourself a Merry Christmas, a beautiful 2022, and thank you guys all for the support I got this year. The support I got this year is insane. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the video. Imagine yourself in 1961. You see an advertisement for an experiment and need the money. You sign up and a few days later you hear back from it. You got accepted and have a leading role in the experiment, the assistant of the experimenter. Another volunteer is brought into the room opposite of you. The experimenter, who is wearing a lab coat, tells you that you are experimenting with electroshocks, as you see the other volunteer being tied to an electric chair. In front of you are buttons, each labeled from slight shock to danger, severe shock. The experimenter asks the volunteer a question. Once answered wrong, you must push one of the buttons. The higher and higher you go, the more and more the volunteers start screaming and banging on the walls until you have reached the final button. Pressing this would kill the other volunteer. The experimenter keeps telling you to press the button. Go ahead. Against your every thought, you press the button and the screaming stops. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the infamous Milgram Experiment. Although familiar to some, the Milgram Experiment was a social psychological experiment done between 1961 and 1963. And I know it might sound really gruesome, but, and yes, this is a good but, the experiment never killed anyone. The volunteers were told the experiment was to see how good people would answer questions under stress, but this never happened. As a matter of fact, no one was ever shocked. Well, maybe the assistants when they heard what actually happened, because, surprise surprise, the assistants were actually the experiments. The Milgram experiment was actually to see how well people would react when being instructed by a higher authority. Hence the reason the experimenter was wearing a lab coat. The volunteer tied to the chair was an actor and never felt any pain. And it's actually astonishing to see the results. When the experiment was first conducted, 65%, meaning 26 of the 40 subjects, actually gave the 450 watt shock. However, most people did stop after 135 watt and asked what the purpose was of the experiment, but did continue after that. After the 300 watt shock and the sounds behind the wall started calming down, most subjects pushed through to the 450 watt. There was actually 23 variations by Milgram. In some cases, the subjects got the instructions via a phone, and in others, 2 other actors were hired to push buttons and follow up the commands as well, to influence choices by the subject. However, there was a 24th, which never really was reported by Milgram himself. In this version of the experiment, the subject would bring a family member or friend who would get the shock. In this variation, only 15% of people delivered the 450 watt shock. There is, however, a more gruesome variation, never conducted by Milgram, but by Charles Sheridan and Richard King. In this variation, there was no human being shocked. Nope, they decided to shock puppies. After the 2 of them felt skeptical about the Milgram experiments, they decided to do their own version, with puppies. And yes, they did actually shock the puppies. No lethal shocks, but definitely hard enough to make them squeal. There was a total of 26 subjects. Out of the 13 male subjects, 6 of them did not continue to the end. However, all 13 female subjects did continue to the end. Talking about the end, talking so much about shocking puppies makes me sick. Thank you so much for watching. If you were able to enjoy this, like, I guess. If you didn't, don't. And I'll see you guys in the next one.